Well, speaking of done, I gotta ask you about this next topic. My namesake, the great Greg Opie Hughes.
Ah,
Um, I gotta be honest with you. I was a Opie defender for a long, long time. Chad still kind of is an Opie defender, but I have to say that it's just got to the point now where uh, I just can't do it anymore. Like I don't even hate listening to his podcast. It's just it's fucking horrible. It's a guy who does nothing doing a daily show about his life, but he doesn't do anything. Like, yeah,
Cheers.
cheer. I'm drinking coffee. Oh, coffee.
Hey,
But if,
doggy, we're drinking coffee.
yeah, but you know what? He's there's this really shit. Well, I haven't seen it in a while, so it's probably not shit. But there's this film called "I Love You, Man," and Paul Rudd's in it, and he's this guy who's never really been around guys before, that doesn't really have friends, and it's just the awkwardness that he has of speaking to someone where he's like, "What are you sitting in chairs, bro? Chairs, hanging out in the chairs with the guys," and you realize that's Opie's podcast because he gets on the air, he realizes I've got nothing to talk about. He's like, "Oh, water's really nice. You like drinking water? It's a delicious liquid." And it's like, and there's the first 7 minutes of the show. The trolls in my comment section.
I don't call that wordplay. I call that word. But I can't stand that shit. That drives me crazy. Hughezy, have you ever listened to the Brother Weeze show, like Opie's mentor?
Never.
Okay. So Opie did a lot of time up this way. He went to Oswego, which is not Oswego, Geneseo, which is really close here.
Yep.
And he interned with a bunch of radio stations in Rochester. And the one that he was with was the Brother Weeze show, 96.5, when Weeze was a whale the size of Stern, at least in the market. Like he was the only guy who could compete with Stern's ratings in the morning. And when Stern did show up in Rochester, he eventually killed him. But Weeze was a very well thought of big show. And that's the same kind of shit that he still does. And he's 83. He's on the air going, baby, bro, what are we going to do here today, bro? We're going to drink some liquids. He just go and listen to Brother Weeze and then tell me you don't hear Opie in 25 years. It'll blow your mind.
You're right.
But do you think though that it's possibly time just for WATP to leave Opie and just move on to another target? Because I think that Opie, unless something crazy happens, I think that keg is dry now.
I resent the term target. I resent the term target because, like, the thing with Carl and what I love about him is he's not just going to do an Opie segment every week. He doesn't now. He does an Opie segment when Opie does something dumb that's funny to check in on. Like, that's the thing. He doesn't sit there every week waiting for Opie for one thing that he could stretch to turn into time. There's so much material out there. Like, if it's not funny, Carl doesn't waste his time on pulling the clips. I don't think. I hope not.
Yeah. I have a hard time believing. How long did we spend that one episode of your show talking about defending Opie and this and that? And for me to even kind of get a little sour on the Opester that's saying a lot. I mean, I love the guy growing up. I thought he did a hell of a job. Part of that show and what his role was. But you're exactly right with the "I love you, man" reference, because it's getting to be pretty bad. And at one time, I thought Opie could be saved. But I don't know. It's time for, I think, the Opester to be put out of his misery, unfortunately.
Well,
that pains me to say that.
You guys know he's doing a new podcast soon, right?
No.
Oh, is this breaking news?
No, he announced it a few weeks ago when we were in New York. I was at fucking Gebhard's when I went to New York. I went to his favorite place. Because I was in town earlier before everybody else, and I had to find a place to post up before we could all go to that hotel. So I go to Gebhard's. Producer Chris meets me over there. We're drinking. And I start talking to the bartender. I'm like, so I hear Opie comes in here all the time. I was like, yeah, he's going to do a new podcast with us.
Geez,
like, it's going to be about beer. It's to be about beer with our owners. And he was like talking it up all nice. And then we go and listen to the show, and Opie started talking about it on his show. So it sounds like it's something that's going to happen. He's going to talk about his pineapple beer or whatever the fuck it is he drinks. And I mean, you can't walk away yet. You got to find out what that's going to be, Hughezy.
if it's about beer, we know that producer Chris is going to be listening to it, and he's actually going to try and fucking drink the audio if he can.
That's accurate.
Accurate. Poor Opie. That's terrible. I might have tried to get in with the Opester at one point to steer him down one path, but I was unfortunately ignored. But he had an opportunity to get behind some sort of paywall, a Patreon or something like that, make everybody start paying for the content. And I think it really would have changed a lot for him at one point, but it's too far gone now. Even those little fancy schmancy videos he started to put out, I just think it's too far gone, unfortunately. And it pains me to say that about the Opester.
And can I please make sure this is very clear? I don't have any ill will towards Opie. Like, I really don't. Opie, I've never had a real problem with him. I think his show is fucking dog shit, and it's really funny when he has fucking the camera taped to the windshield of the inside of his car and it falls down. It's a guy who was making $3 million a year, whatever the fuck he was making. And he's like, they stole my side mirror again. The shit that happened to him. The fact that he's so adept at doing this is almost like scientific to me. Like, I'm studying it like Jane Goodall at this point. I don't think there's any hatred there for Opie, at least from me.
Yeah, but it's crazy. Like, when you see the growth of WATP, it doesn't make sense that Carl can put up like a YouTube clip of him talking about Opie's YouTube channel. And Carl talking about Opie gets nearly 15 to 20 times the views of the actual Opie clip. Mm-hmm. Like, it's Opie is just like you summed it up perfectly there, Vinny. You're Italian. When you said that with Opie, there's like nobody dislikes Opie.
Well, Anthony dislikes him.
Dislikes He's got a reason. Yeah, they got reasons.
Rich Voss dislikes him. A lot of people dislike him. I've never had to deal with him, so whatever.
Yeah, well, apart from the people who've actually met him, but I just think with Opie, it's kind of a, you know what it reminds me of? It's like he's like the radio version of Ric Flair, and it's like you have this legendary career, and you've really done your best to evaporate the respect that people had for you. Like Ric Flair wrestling in fucking half full small venues against whoever the fuck that was. It's the same as Opie going on his slapping the bass, man. Fucking live streams.
The bad one was the meetup. Whenever they had like the meetup with the group at Gephardt's, and it was like 6 people, and they were all just like middle-aged, like older ladies, and like a couple dudes. Like, that's where I was like, oh man, Opester. And I think I paid for his little private Facebook group at one point, and I think I still pay for it. I haven't seen it. It's all like very like not very in touch older people chit-chatting, it's not really anything exciting.
I still hold out hope that for Christmas we could get a huge podcast. I just want to talk to the guy, but
he won't talk to you.
Yeah, I was this close to getting him on once, and he said, I just don't want to talk about all that Opie and Anthony stuff. It's like, well, what am I going to talk about? Your run as a lead singer of the Rolling Stones.
How's your coffee, Ope? What am I supposed to fucking talk to you about?
Yeah.
Candy Crush.
Yeah.
I would understand why that would get tiring. Like, I do the show called the Carlson Cast every week where I talk to lots of comedians from all different walks of life, but I'm sure they get a lot of the same questions. I try very hard not to repeat questions that other people do. I try to watch interviews. I try to make it interesting for them. But the fact of the matter is, if you have Michael Winslow walk into your fucking studio, you're going to ask about fucking Police Academy. You're goddamn Opie from Opie and Anthony. You're going to fucking have to talk about it, bro.
Well, speaking of, I love Michael Winslow. He would be hilarious to hire to bring to the cinema of if your ex is up with their new boyfriend, and I'd be like, go sit near them and make fart noises. Yeah. You're like, hey, I know that wasn't me.